to the Ambassador of the United States to Argentina, Peter Lamelas.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, saludos a todo el mundo. Es un día un poquito feo, está lloviendo, pero el futuro de Argentina va a ser mucho más precioso que el día de hoy. Voy a hablar en inglés. Good afternoon. A few weeks ago in New York City, during Argentina Week, to a packed room at JP Morgan offices, I asked a simple question. When is the right time to enter a market? And at the end of my speech, the answer was simple. For Argentina, es ahora. The time is now. Not after everyone else enters the market, not after the opportunity is fully priced in, but now. Today I want to ask a second question. What makes this the right time to enter this market? Thank you to the Atlantic Council. Thank you to Jason Marsack and his team for convening this very important conversation. It's a pleasure to be here today with Exim Bank President and Chairman John Jovanovic, and with this distinguished group of leaders of government, industry, and finance, and from the investment community. I want to thank President Milei for the economic conditions he is creating that are bringing us together today. The title of my session today is exactly right, From Reforms to Results. Because reform alone does not attract capital, results attract capital. We are here today at what some call a turning point, but a turning point is not defined by announcements. A turning point is defined by execution, and a turning point only matters if it turns into results. Markets do not demand perfection, but they demand direction. That's what serious investors are watching today, right now in Argentina. They're watching macroeconomic stabilization. They're watching regulatory modernization. They're watching a commitment to global integration, a more open, market-oriented environment. And they're all watching this at the start of a future of exports, growth, and long-term competitiveness. That's why investors now are moving from curiosity to conviction to commitment. A little bit of myself first. Before I became a U.S. ambassador to Argentina, I raised capital, I risked capital, I dealt with regulations, I competed, and I succeeded. So when I speak to investors, I speak their language. I speak your language. And as I've said before, if there's one lesson I learned in business, the early investors win. The ones who recognize change before it's obvious to everyone. The ones who move before opportunity is fully priced in. The ones who understand that if you wait for absolute certainty, the opportunity is already gone. Winning investors don't move on headlines. They move on signals. Signals of direction, discipline, transparency, execution. And today, Argentina is sending those signals. Looking at this opportunity, Argentina, as an investor, I come back with three simple questions. Three questions. What is the value? Is it mutually beneficial? And third, can it be implemented? So let me walk you through this. My first question, what is the value? Across sectors, the opportunity is real. Mining, energy, technology, agriculture, transportation, infrastructure, telecommunications, finance. These are not just distant possibilities. They are near-term opportunities. Vaca Muerta, everybody's been talking about Vaca Muerta. Well, Vaca Muerta is projected to hold about 308 trillion cubic feet of shale gas, 16 billion barrels of shale oil. That matters because energy is not just a resource story, it's an infrastructure story, it's an export story, it's a geopolitical story, and it's a clear example why serious investors are paying attention to Argentina now. Now look at mining. Argentina has the world's third largest lithium reserves. Its mining portfolio is about $30 billion spread across more than 100 projects, and it's growing. Mining exports reached about $6 billion in 2025, with the potential to exceed $18 billion annually by 2030. not counting newfound reserves of gold, copper, silver, and uranium. Yes, uranium. Something that the Western Hemisphere is very involved in is maintaining these critical resources for our use, for our necessity. In a world that's reorganizing supply chains for critical minerals like these, they're not just resources, they're strategic assets. And that's why the new Argentina critical minerals, U.S.-Argentina critical minerals framework matters. It is not just symbolic, it is practical. It's about building secure, diversified, and resilient supply chains with trusted partners. Now let's take technology, fiber, satellite, data centers, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence. And Argentina also has another resource, well-educated, talent-rich population of 48 million people, engineers, entrepreneurs, scientists. So as AI scales, countries that could combine energy, critical minerals, infrastructure, talent, trusted technology have a serious advantage. Argentina has a real opportunity to do this, to do exactly just this. Let's not overlook agriculture. Agriculture is huge in Argentina. Argentina is the world's largest exporter of soybeans, one of the world's major agricultural and beef exporters. So this is not just a one-sector story. It's a broad platform for exports, productivity, and long-term growth. My second question, is it mutually beneficial? The simple answer is yes. What matters if partnerships benefit only one side, they won't last. What matters is that partnerships are mutually beneficial to two sides, to both sides. The new U.S.-Argentine relationship has real substance. The United States is already Argentina's largest leading foreign investor. More than 330 U.S. companies operate here. It ranks as the first source of foreign direct investment in Argentina with stock of $14.5 billion in 2023. This is not just a theoretical market. American companies are already here. They're building, they're hiring, they're competing, and many are looking to expand. I guess that's why you're here. That's why everybody in the room is here. You're looking to expand, to decide whether it's the time to invest in Argentina. But when U.S. companies stay, they expand, they reinvest. That tells you a lot more than any headline could ever tell you. In 2025, U.S. exports to Argentina, approximately 18.7 billion, while U.S. imports from Argentina reached approximately 11.3 billion. The United States is Argentina's third largest trading partner, and our bilateral relationship is moving beyond goodwill into economic substance. The United States and Argentina signed the reciprocal trade agreement, the Agreement on Reciprocal Trade and Investment, known as ARTI. That matters because the next chapter of U.S.-Argentine relationships will not be defined only by good intentions. It will be defined by trade, by investment, by innovation, and by results. That's good for Argentina, that's good for the United States, and that's good for the Americas. Because a stronger, safer, and more prosperous Argentina means a stronger and more diversified supply chain with a trusted partner. It means more opportunities for U.S. companies to build, to partner, to invest in energy, mining, infrastructure, logistics, and manufacturing, as well as technology and beyond. And that is really an America First strategy. My third question, can it be implemented? And this is where many good stories fall apart. Good ideas do not matter if they cannot be executed. Announcements do not matter if they do not change market conditions. This is why implementation is everything. And that is where Argentina's seriousness matters. From Economic Minister Luis Toto Caputo and his economic team, to my friend Foreign Minister Pablo Curno, and to President Milei's reform effort, there is a clear objective: to restore stability, to unlock growth, and to attract investments. Again, markets do not demand perfection. They demand seriousness, transparency, direction, and the ability to execute. What is now visible in Argentina is that there's a clear economic direction. Under Milei, for the first time in recent memory, Argentina balanced the budget in both 2024 and 2025. That's incredible. The United States can't balance a budget. Structural reform is never easy. It's not going to be easy here in Argentina, and it requires discipline, consistency, and political will. The United States recognizes this effort and do whatever it takes. The United States will do whatever it takes to help Argentina as a committed partner in this journey. That's what Scott Bessent said. That's what President Trump said. And that's what I'm repeating right now. And let me be clear, partnership is not just a word, it's not just a slogan, it's action, it's tools, it's institutions, and most importantly, it's execution. That's why institutions like Exim Bank are here today at this conference. That's why the Development Finance Corporation matters. And that's why commercial diplomacy matters. Because when serious institutions engage, serious capital becomes willing to move. Now let me be clear about the role of the U.S. Embassy in Argentina. We're not observers, we are partners. When American companies engage our teams early, and I mean early, we reduce friction, we open doors, we connect with decision makers, and turn interest into action. Over the past 3 years, our commercial team has advised more than 2,400 companies exploring opportunities in Argentina. That's execution. And this is not only about foreign capital coming to Argentina. It's also about restoring the confidence across the Argentine economy. Confidence that allows Argentines to invest at home, to build at home, to grow at home. Because the strongest economies are built from within and strengthened by trusted partners. Of course, challenges remain. That's normal. Read the newspaper every day. There's 100 challenges here in Argentina. But meaningful reform takes time. Meaningful reform processes have obstacles that have to be overcome. Investors, however, are not asking whether Argentina is perfect. The only thing they're asking is Argentina moving in the right direction? Are the rules becoming clear? Is the momentum real? And as I said before, and I stand here today again, the answer is yes. Argentina is moving in the right direction, from reforms to results. Moments like this are rare. You have reform momentum. You have economic sectors ready for capital. You have global supply chains shifting. You have a bilateral relationship with tremendous economic potential. You have the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. government ready to support Argentina. Now you have serious institutions prepared to move projects from ideas to financing to execution. So let me say this. This is not a moment to watch Argentina from the sidelines. This is the moment to engage, to compete, to build, and yes, to invest. So let me close where I began a few weeks ago at JP Morgan offices in New York City when I asked one simple question. When is the right time to enter a market? My answer for Argentina was simple. Es ahora. The time is now. Today I asked a second question. I asked another question. What makes this the right time to enter this market? Well, the answer is because the direction is clear. The reforms are serious. Sectors are ready for capital. The partnership is real. And because the path from reforms to results is now visible and clear. What makes this the right time? And why is this the right time for Argentina? Because my friend Luis Caputo's here. That's why it's the right time for Argentina. This seriousness in this government, this seriousness in President Milei, the seriousness in the room with all the investors. That's why this is the right time for Argentina. And that's why for Argentina, the right time es ahora. Thank you very much. Espectacular, Pico. Bien, estamos. Muchas gracias.